I watched Star Wars Skeleton Crew, and look, this isn't an entirely horrible show. While the show was on, I was interested enough to watch it. I was impatient, I wanted to find out what happened next. When the TV was off, though, I was sitting by myself wondering, why was I even watching the show? The point is, there's nothing wrong with Skeleton Crew. It's a good show. It's a show for kids.
We'll have 2 of whatever he's having.
Okay, here we go. Daily special. Nice. One more for you.
Oh, I'm okay. No problem for me, sir.
It's a show for kids, which I didn't know when I started watching the damn thing. But even still, it's a good show. It's a Star Wars show, but one in which none of the Star Wars characters actually appear in, I think. The show has no post-credit scenes, it has none of the extravagance that most Star Wars shows exhibit, and all of this perhaps is what works for this show. Most Star Wars writers, I believe, write keeping in mind how the show connects to the overall Star Wars universe. They throw in bits and pieces from other Star Wars stories, and that I think ruins the experience for most people watching. Don't get me wrong, interconnected stories are great, but we're moving towards an interconnected universe for everything, and I think maybe that's annoying me a little now. Look, Andor didn't connect to the rest of the Star Wars universe, except in one way, of course, but it didn't connect to the rest of the Star Wars universe, and the show was brilliant. So no, connecting to the main universe in every show perhaps does not work for Star Wars. That being said, I don't think I like the show very much. Look, this show is a show for kids, and it felt very much like a show for kids, which is probably why I didn't like the show. And here's the thing, there are shows for kids that I love. Batman the Animated Series for one, Justice League, Turtles, Malcolm in the Middle. These are great shows that are meant for a younger audience, but still feel wonderful. Star Wars Skeleton Crew, unfortunately, is not one of those TV shows. Even the presence of stalwarts like Stephen Fry, Alfred Molina, Nick Frost, they couldn't get me to like the show. And maybe this is a me problem, Perhaps I didn't like it because of how screwed up I am. Because this is a good show. I can feel it's a good show. And I want to like it, but I can't. And because of this, perhaps I couldn't dive into the show and read all the underlying themes of the show. The coming of age stories or the moral dilemmas, trust, friendship, and all that garbage that they were trying to show us. I sort of just glazed over all these things and I just forgot the show after it was done. The friendships they had in the show, the love that these parents had for their kids, all of it sort of just washed over me without really affecting me. I know I've been going on and on about what's wrong with the show and how I've not been telling you anything about the show. And that's perhaps going to be hard, telling you anything about the show, because I'm trying very hard to forget it. Again, not because it's bad, it's a good show, but because it wasn't meant for me and I need to fill my mind with things that are relevant to me, and I don't know why I'm rambling. Look, I do not know what I can say about the show that hasn't already been said. Jude Law is pretty good as Narwood, the thief and overall bad guy who just wants gold. It's surprising that gold is precious even in a galaxy far, far away, but whatever. The chemistry the kids share amongst themselves, that's pretty good. And that's to be expected, I guess. Kids usually aren't as picky as adults in their friendships. They are usually very accommodating of everyone. The bad guys are propped up as comic book bad guys, and that sort of serves the narrative well, I guess. And I really don't know what to add, so I'm going to stop and leave you with that. Skeleton Crew is a good show to have your kids watch, and maybe your young nephews too, but that's about it. It's a show for kids. You probably won't enjoy it if you're an adult, but maybe you will. What do I know? That's it from me. Like, share, subscribe, comment, all of that on the channel, and I will see you next time.